Okay.
Boing!
Silence.
Silence!
The galaxy is at peace.
We'll bring balance to the Force.
The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.
Hey, you didn't want us to lose that energy. We're not losing that energy.
So now bear my Arctic blast.
Here, you can be host.
Hi there and welcome. Hello.
Hello there!
To Retro Game Night. Hello.
You kind of lost it halfway through that.
Yeah, I know.
God help us all.
Sucks to my asthma.
What?
Didn't you ever read Lord of the Flies?
No.
Oh,
I'm not as educated as you.
that was sophomore year of high school.
I'm not as educated as you.
This is why you're such a good gamer. There's nothing else better to do.
More touchy, less thotty.
And with that, we'll begin.
Are you sure?
Hey everybody, I am Player 1 and my name is Damien. Welcome to another Retro Game Night. I am joined with Player 2 over there, that guy. His name is Kyle, I think.
Yeah, maybe not tonight, I don't know.
Player 3, I got Josh here.
Greetings and salutations.
And Player 4, Ben.
Waka waka waka.
And we are here to chat everything, all about things in retro gaming, and sometimes we sneak in some new stuff too. How are you guys tonight?
Little giddy.
Our brains are going to be fried after this.
Yeah, I'm already fried, but try to guide you guys through this one tonight.
We were able to play a little bit of Super Mario Land before we got going, just to kind of get ourselves in the mood.
Got to get those wheels greased.
So I'm just going to jump right into it.
Yeah, we need to start.
We are going to cover so much, and the last episode we did of the timeline, we had covered a lot, and it was really good. I was really happy with the way that turned out. We had covered good history chronologically. Kyle, where did we leave off after part 1 of this Mario timeline?
Just to give it as an introduction, welcome back to the timeline of Super Mario. It was a crazy ride the first time around. We went through so much before. We went through that Jumpman era where we found out where the Mario there and the Donkey Kong there is not the Mario and Donkey Kong that we know of today. That's actually Jumpman Mario, who is the carpenter, and that is also known as Cranky Kong from Donkey Kong Country.
Evil Carpenter.
Evil carpenter.
Evil carpenter.
There we go. There it is. Thank you, Ben. And then from there, we jumped into the baby era. So we had the 4 games from there, from the SNES, 3DS, and the DS games. Then we jumped into the adult era, and we went through all of those. There is a correction that I would like to make, though. When we were talking about the Poltergust, and we were talking about how it went from the Poltergust 3000, he upgraded it to the 3001.
Right.
But then he jumped to the 5000. I wanted to do my research and to find out where that 4000 series was. I wanted to find out if it's mentioned anywhere in the timeline,
Or if it just jumped to 5,000, right?
Yeah. Just to find out to see what.
And just to clarify again, the 5,000 appeared in Mario Sunshine, correct?
No, that one happened was in Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, and that's where it upgraded to the Poltergust 5000.
Okay.
So
Continue.
Right.
I wanted to go back and find out where that Poltergust 4000 was, if it was ever mentioned, and it does turn out that in Mario Kart DS, Luigi had a cart that was the Poltergust 4000.
Wait, so you're talking about the Mario Kart, the game? Which
Correct.
one, by chance?
The DS version.
Okay.
And was that a port of one of the other
Or
ones?
brand new.
No, I think it was its own game.
It's its
because
own game.
that's the only place where the Poltergeist 4000 is ever mentioned. And it was a cart that Luigi drove around.
Okay.
So it does exist within the timeline.
Correct,
The
yeah,
Mario
it
Kart
does.
series.
Correct.
Interesting.
So then the other correction I wanted to make, and this was kind of a big fumble on my part, was where we had Pauline being shown with Mario. And I had mentioned before, I believe it was, I think I said it was like a Mario Tennis in the GameCube version, and I was completely wrong on that. So apologies from me, because that actually came from the Mario and Donkey Kong series. This was an opening of Mario. He was opening up the theme park and was inviting people in to his theme park, and they had a bunch of mini games and was doing the ribbon ceremony and was cutting the ribbon, and that's where he invited Pauline.
Yeah, I played those.
And then that's when Donkey Kong came in, stole Pauline, and it was a whole shenanigans with that whole thing. But I just wanted to mention that one. I wanted to correct that just because I wanted to make sure we get the correct information out there. And actually, in the timeline, we don't know exactly in between, because there's a lot of games in between these ones. But it falls somewhere between Super Mario RPG and the new Super Mario Brothers. And there happens to be about 4 or 5 other games in between those two games. So there's quite a bit. So there's no real specific spot as to where that falls in. But just wanted to give that updated information.
Okay. And then, so do you have a rundown of the last games we put together in the timeline to do like a recap for the listeners? Because it's been a couple episodes in between. The first was
So you want me to read through everything?
just the ones that you have there. Yeah. So we had first, what was it? Donkey Kong was the first?
So we have the Jumpman era, which was Donkey Kong Jr., and probably after that is where we would also find Wrecking Crew
Okay.
in that. And then we'd go to the baby era. That was Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Then Yoshi's New Island, Mario and Luigi Partners in Time, and Yoshi's Island DS.
Gotcha. Okay.
So then we go into the adult era, and that has the games there are Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers, and then kind of as a map pack was the Lost Levels, is what we know of. It was just a map pack for that game, so that doesn't really count, but if you want to put it somewhere, it would go right there. Then Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World, Super Mario 64, Super Mario 64 DS, Luigi's Mansion, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario RPG, Mario and Luigi's Superstar Saga. We always kept saying Superstar. When I was listening to it, I kept laughing at that. Then we had Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. This one's covering the adult section of when they
Right.
went back in
Okay.
time with the babies.
Right.
Then we had Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, Mario and Luigi Dream Team, and then the last one of Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
And that came out for the DS as
For
well,
the DS,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
And that was the upgrade to the Poltergeist 5000.
Right. Okay.
So then in the Super Mario Brothers era, we had the new Super Mario Bros., new Super Mario Bros. 2, new Super Mario Bros. Wii, and the Super Mario Bros. Wii U. And this is where we left off with Super Mario Galaxy.
Got it. That's right. I remember now. And you had a lot in store to tell us regarding Pauline and Daisy, and then you have a lot to cover there.
Correct.
So,
That and also Rosalina.
and Rosalina, right?
Because to kind of piece together, we only have about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more games. We have to dissect Rosalina because that's a very integral part in the timeline as to why the games are in order. So we're going to really have to dive deep into who she is and where she comes from.
What is her motive?
Yeah. What does she
What is
do
it that
here?
she does here?
She does quite a bit and almost holds the universe
What is
together,
it
really.
that
Wow.
What
you
she
do?
does.
Can't wait to hear this. Then go.
So in Super Mario Galaxy, we have her opening a storybook and telling a story throughout the game. And it turns out that as she's going through that story, it turns out to be more and more of her story, of who she is.
Question: She is reading a story. I haven't played this, by the way. she's reading storybook time of this, but to who?
To the little starlings that are around.
Okay.
Remember the little starlings that would help you out through Galaxy?
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
little
yeah,
guys?
yeah.
And
I've
she
heard
also
of them.
has the little one. If we've seen her in Smash Brothers, she has that little starling with her that fights with her.
Okay.
There's a bunch of those little guys, and she's telling the story to them.
Okay.
So, in chapter 4, we see the first glimpse of who she calls her mother. And in the picture that we have, we see her from the back, and then we also see a picture of her, like a drawn sketch, like with crayons. We see a picture of her from the nose down.
Okay.
And we see some very similar traits we see in somebody else. Even though she's wearing a blue dress, she has longer but blonde hair with the flips coming out on the ends. We see the normal pink rose lips, and we see a golden crown and blue orbs on her ears. What character does that sound like to you? Reminds us of Peach, right? The other things we see in the storybook that gives us more hints would be a silhouette of a castle that has 2 short towers on either side and a taller one in the middle. And we can kind of remember from Super Mario 64, if you ever try to jump up onto the castle, or if you see it, 2 small towers on either side and a tower one in the middle has the little spires, right? So to really get into who is her mother, we have to look at what type of physical traits she may have gotten from her mother. And this kind of gets into our DNA. So the first things that we really see from her are her earlobes.
Meatlobes.
So there's 2 different types of earlobes that we have. We have hanging earlobes and we have attached earlobes. Now, those are shown by dominant and recessive genes that we have. And then the phenotype is what we actually see in people, and we get those from our moms and dads. So specific genotypes, if you go into a Punnett square, which would kind of look like a normal just square, but then cut it horizontally and cut it vertically. So you have 4 squares inside the bigger square. And you put a big D close together and then smaller Ds further apart on the other boxes. You would actually get all the different combinations of what you would get from your mom and dad. And for attached earlobes, there's only 1 out of 4 of those combinations that you could get. So both parents have to have attached earlobes in order for someone to have attached earlobes. And we see that baby Peach is the only time we see Peach's earlobes. Every other time there's always a huge earring, right? We never really see her earlobes. So we see from her baby that she has the attached earlobes, and we can also see that Mario does too.
That takes some lobes.
It does. It takes some big lobes. Or maybe not. Smaller lobes, actually.
Perhaps.
And then the next thing that we see is her eye color. And that is polygenic, which means it's manipulated by multiple genes. And just to give a quick rundown of that, brown is the most dominant, covering 2/3 of a chart if you look up how many gene combinations it takes to get brown. Green is the next one with only 2 combinations. And blue eyes is the last one. The most rare version of the eye color is that. So both parents have to have blue eyes in order to have a blue-eyed baby. Mario and Peach have blue eyes, and so does Rosalina. So we can see that Peach is still the identifying person as to who it could be. Same with the hair color. Mom, she has blonde hair. It's more than likely that the babies would have blonde hair.
If it's real.
If it's, yeah. And then last but not least is handedness, which means is she right-handed or left-handed?
Or middle-handed.
And ambidextrous, right? And in game footage, we see her always favoring her wand with her left hand. But in promotions, as me and Damien have talked about before, there's a thing called right-handed bias. So if you see something that in a promotion that's left-handed, we always think it's a little weird, it's kind of awkward. So they always put it in the right hand to make it more palatable for people to take. I mean, how many left-handed scissors do you normally see? But you always see right-handed scissors.
Right.
So we have to take kind of the promotions out of the way. Or we could bring those in and consider her ambidextrous, that she does left or right-handed. Now, some facts that I didn't know about is only 10% of the world's population is left-handed. and the mother's preference is usually the deciding factor into what her child will be. So if two right-handed parents have a child, it's 10% chance that they're going to be left-handed. If the mother is right-handed and the father is left-handed, it's still only 10%. But if the mother is left-handed and the father is right-handed, it actually doubles to having 20% chance to have a left-handed baby. And as we've seen in the different games that we have in the tennis games and the baseball games, Peach is right-handed, but when she plays golf on the left side. So we can see in later in life, left-handed people can actually become ambidextrous.
Right.
But Peach does have left-handedness, and Mario is right-handed. So it is 20% for them to have a left-handed child. The only way that increases is if both mother and father are left-handed, and that increases it to 35% chance for their child to be left-handed.
So all this just proves that much more with this research that
Peach is her mother.
Peach is her mother, and that just proves that theory even more.
Correct.
Right.
So we know now who the mother would be, which would be Peach. But now here's a little interesting twist. In chapter 7 of her storybook, I actually wrote down some text from that so we can read through it and actually dissect it, because there's a little bit more clues as to who her mother is in the text of the book. So I'm going to read some of that to you guys. It says, "She twisted the knob of the telescope, and the blue dot grew until she could make out a grassy hill dotted with flowers. It seemed very familiar to her. Zooming even closer, the terrace on the hill came into view. I used to go stargazing there when I lived on my home planet." She remembered rubbing the sleep out of her eyes as she followed her father up that hill to look at the stars. So in the beginning of Super Mario Galaxy, we actually see that Mario is dropped off at the castle. He goes through an archway, and you actually see this line going up to a hill lined with flowers. And the flowers in the storybook are purple, white, and yellow. But in the game, they are also purple, white, and yellow. So that's another clue that place is in walking distance of the castle and has the same flowers going up. Even more evidence that it's by Peach's castle.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Am I still getting?
Yeah, you're good.
Guys?
You're
So
good.
far, so
Keep
good.
it going. Keep it going.
All right. So more from the book. It says, "She remembered having picnics with her mother on that hill on bright and windy days. And," the girl broke down into tears, "I want to go home. I want to go back to my house on the hill. I want to see my mother." The girl was shouting now, her face wet with tears. "But I know she's not there. I know all along that she wasn't out there in the sky because she's sleeping under the tree on the hill." The girl's cry echoed through the stars, and a hush fell over the area. So what does that kind of tell us?
That they don't know how to rhyme. Terrible,
Her
terrible
mother
rhyming
takes
ability.
really, really long naps underneath the tree.
No, she's buried. She's dead.
Ew.
That's
not
one thing
very
that
nice.
that's one thing that flipped me out about the Mario series. As much as we see Mario falling into pits of lava, Bowser falling into pits of lava, people, it seems like you have lives galore. Death can be permanent in the Mario world. There is somebody who is buried and dead in the Mario world.
They didn't have save states before that, so.
but they do have 1-up mushrooms. Oh, so those don't work.
Well,
You know what? This is exactly like Final Fantasy VII. Why couldn't the Phoenix Down revive Aerith? The Mario
That's
universe.
true.
The Mario
Can't
universe.
revive-
They have 1-up.
Can't revive when there's no body.
It had to be a special Phoenix Down.
but she flowed down to the bottom of the pond.
Yes, but my team had plenty of Phoenix Downs in their inventory. Cloud could have easily just used one.
Just take it, throw it, chuck it. Hopefully it hits her.
It's one of those things where it's just the difference between the video game logic and
Right.
more of the realistic, the cinematic. Okay, well, no, you can't really use this.
If they want a character dead, they're gonna kill him, and that's
Yeah.
for sure. So the whole time we're seeing that the mom is dead throughout Super Mario Galaxy. But we've already just figured out that the mom is Peach. And Peach is in that game. The story of that game is Peach gets captured by Bowser, and you're going and saving her the entire time. So how can there be two Peaches? How can Peach be dead and alive at the same time?
Well, how can Peach also have a daughter that's about her age as well?
Josh, we're going to get into that.
Okay.
I'm being dead serious. We are going to get into how they could be the same age. But so at the end of the game, when it does a spin around, you actually get to see the whole landscape of the castle, the road leading up, and a single tree on the top of the hill. And we know that it's Peach's castle. So she has to be dead.
And this is all from the first Mario Galaxy game.
Correct.
Right.
This is all from the first Mario Galaxy game. So at the end of the game,
Spoilers.
Stuff happens.
a lot of stuff happens. Normally what we get at the end of a Mario game, and again, spoilers, if you haven't played a Mario game,
Shame on you.
I don't really know what to tell you about that. But Bowser falls into a pit of lava, you save the princess, promise of cake, happily ever after, the end. But in this game, everybody is sucked into a black hole and it's destroying everything. But the Star Children, a ton of them fly into the black hole and cause a giant explosion.
Black hole. Ben, can I get your sound effects for that? Yeah, that'll do. Thanks.
Everything gets sucked into a black hole. The Starlings sacrifice themselves, create a huge explosion, and it recreates the universe.
Kaboom.
And as Mario is flying through, as everything's being recreated, Rosalina explains that the stardust reforms and creates a new star, and its new cycle of life continues. But there's small changes. And we see that at the end of the game because all the different intergalactic characters that were on the different planets that were all spread out are all now on a single planet coexisting on one planet. So remember in the last episode, I kind of threw in the little thing of the multiverse theory in the Mario games as to how there's so many different lives. Well, what just happened here with the slight change in the universe could explain why there's so many different lives in the Mario games. In that one universe, Mario died, but then the universe continued on, and then it reset, and now we're in another Mario. So it could be explained that way. Another way to kind of wrap your mind around it, it would be like if you took the Nintendo game, you put it into the NES, you turned it on, but when Mario died, you hit the reset button. But when you reset it, you still have all the core elements as to the blocks, the enemies, all the powers and stuff, all the same characters, but everything would be put in a different order. So the levels wouldn't look the same. You still have all your number of levels, just the levels are all shuffled around. That's how we can really wrap our head around what they're talking about here with resetting the universe. With the huge explosion, everything being slightly different, but still the same stuff. So then it also might explain why Mario and Bowser, 80 to 90% of the time are enemies. But then when the universe resets and things are slightly different, they could be in a party playing a board game together, or they're kart buddies and they're playing a kart game.
Or playing tennis.
Exactly, playing tennis. So this could be another explanation as to how those games may be in existence, because sometimes they're enemies, sometimes they're friends. Most of the time enemies, though.
And this could also explain why Waluigi isn't in everything either. Maybe he's only in some iterations of the universe.
Right.
Never thought about that.
Yeah, you never know. This also would explain, too, as to why every so often we see the Koopalings, and sometimes we don't. And the other one that really bugs me is where Gino and Mello went. I want another iteration.
Which ones are those again?
For Super Mario RPG.
Oh, right.
When they're in there, the doll, the star that turned into the doll, and then also Mello.
So we only saw them in Mario RPG. That's
right.
It?
Yeah, that's where they only are.
Well,
so we have Rosalina, who lost her mom, and so when she loses her mom, it's no explanation as to how she has her spaceship, but she has her ship. She leaves the planet and then returns every new cycle of the galaxy. But in this time, in Super Mario Galaxy is one of the iterations where she actually gets involved with the action. And also, when you play through as Mario, you also have those missions in the game where you're supposed to go save Luigi, your brother, right? Do you guys remember that game?
Yeah.
So when you play through it again as Luigi, when you go to those same missions, you would think, well, okay, well, I'm playing as Luigi, I'm going to go rescue Mario. But no, you're rescuing Luigi.
What?
Kind of also cements the theory of the universe resetting. Here is another version of Luigi that is in this castle that you're having to save. They try to explain it as Luigi saying, well, there's enough people in the universe for one person to look like me.
That didn't sound like Luigi.
Yeah, so I can't do a Luigi voice. How does Luigi
Can you help
sound?
us out, Ben?
Enough people in the universe for one person to look like me.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it. So this actually kind of goes into how Mario Galaxy is actually bending metaphysical rules. So the other rule that it kind of bends is what you had asked before. How is Rosalina and Peach similar in age? When they originally were created, there was a little hint that they were going to be related by Yoshiaki Kozumi, who was the writer of the book, of Rosalina's storybook. And it was kind of hinted during the promotions that they were going to be related, and a lot of people thought they were going to be sisters. But what we kind of went through seems like that Peach is her mom. So this is something that me and Damien have also talked about. You remember time dilation?
Yeah.
What we've talked about?
Yeah, I do remember this.
For what system?
Available on all major platforms.
Well, Einstein in 1905 had a theory of special relativity that we know of as time dilation. And with this, the theory is that time slows down with motion. So when time reaches the speed of light, it really comes to a stop. So time actually is slower for the one that is traveling close to the speed of light. And it's kind of calculated that if Rosalina's ship was traveling through the universe at close to the speed of light, 1 year on board her ship going that fast would actually equate to 100 years on Earth, which would be why she could be the same age as Peach.
And it's close to the speed of light because you cannot travel at the speed of light.
Right, nothing can travel as fast as light. Another thing, too, is that Rosalina actually never calls her mom Peach. She never says Peach's name. She always says, "Your special one." And so, again...
That would be kind of weird, though, if she called her mom Peach. Just saying.
Just a little weird. Or
Would be
even
a
calling
little
her mom. She always just called her special one. But that was in relation to Galaxy when she's talking about Peach to Mario.
I got a question for you. Were they close? Does it mention any of this research that they were actually close
what
with
was
one
the
another?
proximity of the...
Only in that one iteration of where her mom would have died of the universe would they have been close. Other than that, she was never really existed outside of that one time that she flew off into space. I mean, she could have before in the past in other iterations, but then this specific one would actually be the one that traveled out from the planet and was traveling the universe. That version of her is now coming back, and that's the ones that we're dealing with, is that iteration. But she could have seen multiple reiterations of the universe, as we have seen in the end of Galaxy, where they had the huge explosion. She has seen this before. She was able to explain it to Mario before.
I see. Okay.
Now
So-
I have a question.
Yeah.
Now I'm just throwing this out there. Maybe some of the finer details of the games maybe disprove this, but how do we know that Rosalina just isn't from the future, or that her abilities just give her the ability to transcend time itself? And so everything that's happened between her parents and her mom passing away didn't just happen sometime in the past. And now she's coming back to the past maybe to prevent her mother's death, or just to help out because maybe something has changed.
Well, she doesn't have actual powers or anything. The only thing that she's ever had is the ship that can travel close to the speed of light. And in time dilation, there is no way to travel back in time. It's only slowing down and actually going forward in time. So we can't actually travel back.
But we do see that they do go back in time in this timeline because of which game was it? Where adult Mario and Luigi?
Well, in those games, yes, but we don't see that specifically with Rosalina and with what she does.
But in this
It has
universe,
yet to be
we can
revealed.
say that they can travel back in time in this Mario
The
universe,
capability's there.
as we can see. Because then there's also Mario's Time Machine, the game.
The only evidence that we see in Galaxy is that Rosalina can travel close to the speed of light in her ship. We don't see any evidence of her traveling back in time, only that she looks forward to coming back to the planet every couple hundred years to revisit the place where her mom had died.
So that sounds strange. It almost seems like the universe, or at least the Mario universe, resets itself every few hundred years. That's not that much time.
Well, few hundred years possibly to certain people's relation to what she's experiencing. We don't know, because if Rosalina is 20 years old, that would mean that 2,000 years potentially has passed in the universe. And we don't know how many times the universe would reset itself.
That hurts my brain.
Do the games actually state their specific age?
No.
Okay, so
Nobody is specific age.
No, not that we know of. The only thing that we can really get in age is what we've discussed before with Cranky Kong, and how he's at the end of his 40 years.
Right.
And he's still alive, as Donkey Kong and Mario are around the same age.
Since gorillas only live a certain amount,
40 years.
40 years, and so therefore you can deduct exactly what he would be.
That Mario, and seeing as Donkey Kong with the current day Mario is grown up, so at least 15 years old, but Mario and Luigi look to be older, so we could say that they could be in their 20s.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Cranky Kong would be adult during the Donkey Kong games, so he's at least 15 there. Donkey Kong Jr. would at least be 8 years old there, reaching sexual maturity, but not yet full grown. And then from there would have birthed Donkey Kong, and we see that as baby DK and baby Mario being the same age in
More or
those
less,
games.
Yeah.
So Mario and Donkey Kong are around the same age, and we see Donkey Kong is already full grown, so at least 15 years old.
But in Donkey Kong Jr., isn't Mario older than Donkey Kong Jr.?
But that's Jumpman Mario.
That's Jumpman, which would be his dad.
The dad. Yeah. Yeah, he was
That'd be
being
the-
cruel to Donkey Kong Jr.
That'd be the dad of Mario?
Yep.
Yeah, because again of Cranky Kong, he would have to be. I mean, Mario would be an old man in these games if he was around the same age as Cranky Kong.
Unless it was a Mario from a different iteration of the universe.
No, because
Now you're just making it complicated.
no, because
Wrong.
Cranky Kong is in Donkey Kong Country, and we have grown-up DK there, so he's all part of the same universe. All of these games are in a span of one universe, but with Mario Galaxy, it starts to create multiverse theory, and we don't know how many universes we're actually seeing in all these games.
You mean it would take an Odyssey to be able to find them all?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I saw what you did there.
I'm trying to even
I saw what you did
I'm trying to
there.
even think on how Odyssey fits into it. Unfortunately, I still haven't beaten that game, so I don't really know how I would be able to explain how that one goes in. But maybe in future episodes, I might be able to add that little tidbit in one of the beginning of the episodes to try to flesh out the timeline.
So to be clear, Jumpman is the father of Mario?
Right, which appeared in Donkey Kong Jr., Wrecking Crew,
Probably Wrecking Crew.
and that's it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And his name is Mario as well.
Jumpman Mario. Yes.
Jumpman Mario. And I don't know if at the top of the screen when you're playing these games, if it actually, I think it just says Mario, but known in the instruction booklets, to my knowledge, it says
First or last.
Jumpman.
It says Jumpman Mario,
Jumpman
and he's
Mario.
rescuing his
So
girlfriend.
his first name is Jumpman. Okay.
So he's not Mario the first?
He's Jumpman Mario.
Who is the girlfriend?
Pauline.
Pauline. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
and that
still
was one of the
piecing this all
corrections
together.
that was one of the corrections that I made.
Okay.
That she was in the the Mario versus Donkey Kong games.
Got it. Okay.
But now, if we take a look at the French version of the game, Matt Pat, he actually took some
Omelette du fromage.
omelette du fromage. Thank you, Dexter's Laboratory. In the French version of the game, there's actually an extra part of the story that's in Rosalina's book that was cut out from the other languages. And Matt Pat had taken some French courses throughout his schooling, and he also used Google Translation to translate this part of it, and I'm going to read that to you guys right now. It says,
You read it in French.
I actually didn't write down the French version, sorry. I looked at it, I'm just like, nope, I ain't even going to try that. So in the translated version in English, it says, I would like once every 100 years to return back to my blue planet and doze on the knees of my father, stroking the mustache that was his pride. So right there we can also see another link as to it could possibly be Mario being her father, because for whatever reason, that part was in the French version.
What if that's Jumpman Mario?
No.
Whoa.
No, because it's all happening in our timeline right now.
Well, wait a second. Isn't there another plumber with a nice mustache, but also blue-eyed in this universe?
A little green around the gills.
Yeah. And also, he has attached earlobes.
Ooh.
Oh my.
Ooh.
Man, when Kyle covers everything, he covers everything.
Other interesting thing is that Rosalina is actually taller than Mario. And who else is taller than Mario?
Everyone.
Waluigi.
Exactly. And then in the storybook, she actually has a part in it where she talked about playing with her brother. And when we look at a picture of the two playing together, it's silhouetted, but we can see her blonde hair. But we also have a picture of the brother. And when you zoom in on that, the brother has a green cap.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And where have you ever seen Mario having a telescope?
Hmm.
Can anybody think of any time when Mario might have had a telescope?
I have the picture in my head, but I can't think of which game.
Not in Odyssey.
Was it Ahoy Ahoy Mario?
Ahoy, ahoy, Mario.
Was it that one? Is that where he had the telescope? Or,
The only time that I could think of in a
or was
modern
it
game,
Avast Ye Mario?
Wind Waker Mario, crossing game genres now. The only time that I could think of would be in Odyssey, but that was a newer game, and this was before that game came out. In the timeline, I would believe that Odyssey would be coming after all of these. So in the games, the only time that we ever see one of the brothers with a telescope would be Luigi's Mansion. In Luigi's Mansion, he had inherited that entire mansion and everything inside of it, and in the attic, Luigi has a telescope. And Rosalina mentions in her storybook that she borrows the telescope from her father to do stargazing. So with all of that, plus, I'm going to squeak my voice there. In Galaxy, when you beat it with Mario, you get to play through it again as Luigi. When you beat it with Luigi with all 120 stars, plus the secret star at the end of the game, you are actually rewarded with a picture of Luigi with Rosalina with the Toads and no one else. So we could actually possibly see this as a picture of father and daughter.
Was she younger in the photograph, or was she?
No, it was after the adventures in Galaxy.
Oh, okay,
with the
got
Toads
it.
and the stars,
So like a
and all that.
present picture of that
Correct.
game. Okay.
So this kind of throws a wrench into everything that we've known of the Mario universe, because it was originally said that Peach and Rosalina were going to be related, but Miyamoto had actually stopped it and wanted that reference removed. So that one part in the French game might have been a mistake to be in there, but we can see these things relating to Luigi. Which means at the very end of it all, Mario and Peach never make it together.
Mind blown. After all that, they don't even end up together.
Yeah, and it was a lot to talk about all the genes and all that, but that also showed who could be the father because in all the games too, we see Luigi's also left-handed. So that would actually
Mario ends up with a Koopa paratrooper. I'm telling you.
that leads to it being a higher probability of being Luigi's daughter because he's left-handed, Peach would be left-handed. The percentage would be 35% to have a left-handed child.
They both have earlobes.
The earlobes, the eyes, the brother having a green cap and the telescope all together.
2 arms, 2 legs, yeah, a head.
2 noses and an ear.
So that's Mario Galaxy for you guys.
Man.
That's the one game and we get all that
So
information.
just the one entry of Mario Galaxy is enough to change literally almost everything we know of the Mario
and Miyamoto,
franchise.
And Miyamoto tried to stop it. He tried to stop all the references because we all know and love the fact that Mario and Peach go together. But this actually supports the timeline because Super Mario Galaxy 2 happens right afterwards with the new reiteration of the Galaxy. It's kind of just a reskinning of Galaxy, so he's going through the adventure again. So then after Galaxy 2, we get Super Mario 3D Land and 3D World, and there's no real way to place those one before the other, so they're kind of around the same time. And this one comes here because Rosalina and the Cosmic Clones and Blue Toad from Super Mario Bros. Wii and Wii U are in this game as playable characters. So this ends the timeline of Mario and Luigi with Luigi stealing Peach away from his brother, and now Mario is heartbroken, and he's now leaving the Mushroom Kingdom and going on to brand new adventures.
I wouldn't feel so bad about Mario here because
Why is that?
as we see in Galaxy 2, it still seems like Mario and Peach are an item, and I think even all the way to Odyssey, they're still an item. However, as we go through that timeline, we notice that there are adventures that Mario takes where he is going after other women here.
Correct.
Womanizer.
Exactly.
And just because here that we see that Luigi takes her, he could be trying to struggle with that fact. And even in Odyssey, when she gets stolen away, it could be right here where Odyssey fits into this timeline. I'm not sure. I haven't put a lot of time into it to beat it yet. A lot of stuff has come up to take my focus away. I have played a little bit of it, but I haven't been able to beat it yet. So once I'm able to, I'll come back and see if I'm able to fit it into the timeline and find out where it might be. But it could be with Mario struggling with the idea that Peach is no longer his, but he's still trying to save it because she's technically quote-unquote family. And so Luigi in this game isn't searching for Mario because in the beginning it seems like Mario died, but yet he's taken to a place where there's this alien form that takes his hat, the form of his hat, Cappy. And then Mario's traveling around the galaxy because he's stranded and he's collecting the moons to try to get back and to try to fix the universe and save Peach still. So we could see where it fits in, how his feelings are with everything, but we'll have to see. I'll have to beat that to find out where it is. So going on from here, that actually concludes that timeline of what we know now because of Peach and Luigi getting together. Right here, as we know right now, Mario is heartbroken and he leaves the Mushroom Kingdom and goes to Sarasaland. And in Sarasaland is where we find Mario in Super Mario Land for the original Game Boy. Woo! So starting from the beginning, in what year?
1989 it was released.
And that was a
launch title. Same year as the
Jeez.
Game Boy's launch.
So wrapping it around to there, we have Mario leaving to Sarasaland to save a new princess. Her name is Daisy from an evil alien named Tatunga. And at the end of it, Daisy gives Mario a kiss, and we can see that at the very end because it's no longer being transformed into one of those fighter fly guys. She walks up, gives him a kiss, and a heart goes up. Mario takes the lead, and she's right behind him, and his interest has shifted to a new princess. Which then leads right into Super Mario Land 2 for the Game Boy. And this is also where we see Wario taking advantage of Mario being away and taking over Mario's castle. We find it in the manual from Mario saying that Wario took over his castle. and so he has to go back and take it back from him. He says, "While I was away crusading against the mysterious alien Tatunga in Sarasaland, an evil creep took over my castle."
Have a rotten day.
And who is Wario? Like, obviously I know who it is, but I mean, as far as what we know of him, relation-wise or friend-wise, or how do people know who Wario is in this universe?
I don't think we know that.
So we
I
don't
think
know
this
anything
is-
except that he appears.
Yeah, I think this would be technically the first time we would see Wario in the games.
Wait.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Because on your list you had the Super Mario 64, and then you also had the Super Mario 64 DS right after that.
With Wario in it.
Oh,
Yes.
Wario is in the DS version of Mario 64?
Luigi, Wario,
I
and
did not know
Yoshi.
that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Okay.
So maybe
Yoshi
Wario,
and Wario, you're saying?
Yes.
Wow.
So maybe Wario has been around the entire time, but since Mario is always in his castle in Mushroom Kingdom, he's kind of laid low until the creep, an evil creep, took over his castle. Maybe that's why he's saying it that way.
Maybe he already knows him, and maybe that's why he's calling him a creep.
Right.
Or it's a port of Mario 64 adding those characters? Or do you think that the storyline actually fit Wario and Yoshi?
I'm ashamed to say I didn't play through it.
Okay, because yeah, we may be speculating, but it could just be a deluxe port featuring a little bit more character.
Well, Yoshi was in Super Mario 64. He was an Easter egg. When you were able to, at the end, get the cap and you flew up to behind the castle, you could actually see and get a Yoshi in the original game. So maybe Wario was an addition to that one, or maybe, like we said, it could be that Wario's been around the entire time and they've known about the threat. They just, since Mario's been around, Wario just kind of stayed low, and maybe that's why we don't really see much of Wario and Waluigi, except for in the party games and in the kart games.
There's
Everyone is having a decent day.
there's a couple of Wario games, solo games, to my knowledge.
Yeah,
Several.
WarioWare.
Isn't there Wario Woods? Wasn't that?
Yeah, Wario Woods.
Now I wonder if there's a background on him as far as, because we're covering the Mario timeline, but that could
Right.
be a fit into the timeline that we don't know about as to where he is.
And I think there's also a Wario game with Bomberman.
Are you serious?
Yes, I am serious.
I did not
It's
know that.
Bomberman with one of the Mario characters. I'm pretty sure it's Wario.
Interesting.
It's
Matt Pat does have a theory out there where all video games could be technically considered in the same universe.
Yeah, I could see something like that. Yeah.
So I mean, I haven't seen that one.
Sure, why
but
not?
It's kind of insane.
Yeah.
But so hopefully that made sense to everybody. I was trying to take 3 of his videos and condense it into this podcast. If you want to be able to see those videos and kind of have a visual diagram of what we were talking about, because he does show those on his videos, and his math of close to the speed of light and how it would equate to the years, 1 year to 100 years and all that. The 3 videos that we were discussing is the Mario timeline reveal. The other video would be Rosalina Unmasked. And then the third video would be Peach is Dead. So if you want to be able to see the different visuals that he puts out to explain it a little bit better, to be able to visualize it better, those are those 3 episodes.
And I just looked it up here. The Wario game with Bomberman is called Wario Blast, featuring Bomberman, and it was for the Game Boy.
Did it come out here or in Japan?
Both.
I don't recall seeing that at all. Original Game Boy or Game Boy Color or
Original Game Boy.
original Game Boy? Yeah, look at
is
that.
interesting.
Yeah, never remembered seeing that.
I would have thought that would have been like a fan-made hack or something like that.
Yeah. There's Wario with Bomberman,
A Bomberman
on the
on a
bomb.
bomb.
Yeah.
I guess
That
it
is
wasn't
interesting.
that big of a blast.
Apparently. Yes.
You're 2 for 2 on the puns tonight.
I could be very punny.
You are so punny.
Yeah, Wario actually stumbles into Bomberman's world. So apparently, I don't know if he's in.
So
another
that
movie.
supports what you just said, which is that all games share the same universe.
Somehow, when
So
the universe,
Mario essentially could walk in Arkham Asylum and see Batman.
I feel bad for Batman.
Oh, Batman's going to be frustrated with him.
I'm not sure with as much technology as he has that he could withstand the fart blasts of Wario.
Well, then again, he is used to fighting Joker, so you never know.
Dude, have you seen Wario's butt blast? I mean, Smash Brothers, it is a dangerous thing.
Must be.
The force of that just rockets him all over.
Oh, dude, you have no idea. I think it could stop the Batmobile. No, actually, he eats it. He could eat things. He does that all the time in Smash Brothers. It's one of his grabs. He'll actually bite you, chomp on you to regain health, and then he like spits you out. So his jaws are made of steel or something.
Crazy.
He's such a bizarre character.
So does this actually cover, in your opinion, the full Mario timeline?
I think it covers the core games. We did see another video that had mentioned other timelines, and they're not as concrete as this one would be. Although they do have some interesting theories in the fact that Rosalina's book may have been writing down Mario and Luigi's different adventures every time she comes back and sees it. And it could be considered where Paper Mario and a lot of those paper games come from would be from her storybook that she had written down of their adventures.
I forgot about the Paper Marios. You didn't cover that, did you?
No, well, they're not one of the core
Okay,
stories.
so they're just side.
They would be side stories, which I like the fact that they were bringing that in, that's where these games could be coming into play.
Right.
And then, like I said, all the party games and the Mario Karts,
That's right.
especially since the babies are there, could
Right.
be considered a different reiteration of the universe being recreated, and having the babies coming from the past to the future and being able to all party together, and why Mario and Bowser are friends sometimes and enemies the others, like in RPG.
Right.
So I mean, there's a lot of.
So what you're saying is we don't have to do a part 3 of this.
No, as of right now, this is it. This is our timeline that we have put together with the help of Matt Pat.
Let's give it up for Kyle for getting all this information.
Golf clap.
Golf clap. Spanning 2 full episodes of the entire Mario timeline.
You are a gentleman and a scholar.
If I'm missing
And a
anything,
scoundrel.
please let us know. I'll
Yeah.
try to work it in.
If we did miss something, please let us know.
And I'm not talking about the like fan-made hack games and stuff. There's going to be so many of those out there.
So many of those, it's not even worth trying.
Yeah, but
And they might be off as well with their
Yeah.
storyline, so we don't even know.
So let's try to focus on core games here, but there might be little plot holes here and there. Like Josh has brought up some things that have kind of made me stumble a little bit in it, but
You're only human.
yeah.
You can't have it all.
Well,
You're not a
it's-
computer.
Well, it's also Matt Pat. Like I said, all of this has come from him and his overthinking of video games, so I want to give it to Matt Pat too. I just wanted to bring it to, maybe you guys haven't seen it yet, you wanted to hear us talk about it. It to me, this puts it together just like the Legend of Zelda timeline. You do the best you can with it, but at the end of the day, there may be some plot holes in it, but it's what we got.
So now that we covered pretty much the entire timeline here, aside of the from the ones that are the side games that are not the core Mario games, last time we talked about as a group our favorite games in the franchise. I definitely treasure mine very closely. I love it, but I thought to be different, maybe state which ones out of the franchise we really don't like, and I think we all have our pick here. So I'll go ahead and start off. I personally never ever enjoyed playing Lost Levels, and for me, that game was redundant. It was lackluster as far as there's no story. It was the same thing. It was just an expansion pack.
Right.
And if you were gonna put those levels in the game, why didn't you just put it in number 1? I don't mind if it was longer, fine, but why make a whole other game of just that all over again?
Just Mario continues.
Yeah, Mario some more, and
Exactly.
and with no originality. It was just the same thing again. Just So for me, I'm gonna pick that one. It was just kind of lame. I won't choose that one to play again.
Another thing I noted when I played it as well is that a lot of the controls changed. Like the springboards in the original game, they would give you a decent boost. It would raise you up towards the top of the screen, but then in the Lost Levels, it throws you completely off by some of them just launching you so far above the screen view, you don't even know where you're at.
Wow, I don't remember that. I don't even think I even got that
The
far.
springs were broken on that?
Yeah, no, it's just a difference in the gameplay style.
That's
Gravity
strange.
was different,
Yeah.
apparently.
I agree about lost levels. It just,
Yeah.
nah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I'll go into mine then. So as for me, I would say, and I know a lot of people may disagree with me on this one, but the new Super Mario Brothers for the 3DS would be my pick.
That's the one with the Mega Mushroom, right?
Yes, that was the introduction of that, as well as the mini mushroom as well. And one of the things I really didn't care for it was that, and I didn't even end up finishing it. I tried to, but I got so frustrated with the game because there was so many alternate pathways, and I would play through levels as intricately as I can, trying to go down every pipe, take the mini mushroom to every little location, and I would still somehow miss these alternate locations.
That's frustrating.
And I could not figure out where they were. In other games, you could figure them out. There was a warp pipe or a special area to get into.
A pit that wasn't a pit. No,
Yes,
just kidding.
and I couldn't figure them out, and I got so frustrated and rage quit.
Just rage quit.
Yes.
You took it, chucked it out the
Chucked
window.
it out.
No, it's
Flush
still
it.
It's still in the tin somewhere
Yeah.
in my room.
Would that classify on our Retro Game Night classification for rating as flush it?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe a one and done.
if you can get it done.
Yeah. Kyle, you have one?
Yeah, mine was Super Mario Sunshine, and the reason for that is because my OCD would kick in, and I felt like I had to clean the paint off of everything.
But that's where my OCD kicked in that I liked it.
But then
You're a half glass empty kind of guy, aren't you?
Well, because in the main area, when you're cleaning things up, you can clean up different spots of it to unlock different areas, and those parts would stay clean. But the main areas would always get dirty again.
That's right, yeah.
And it would bug me so much that I had to go clean everything again. And it just took so much time.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah. It took you away from the game after a while.
Yeah.
You're just off cleaning. It's like, this is a chore.
Wow, I'm glad I didn't get into that one because that exactly would have bugged me too.
Yeah. There are areas that just keep getting dirty again and again and again. And I just couldn't handle it anymore.
And for me, I'm kind of an oddball with Super Mario 2 being my favorite, like, of anything, but then going down to Super Mario 64 being one of everyone's favorites. Usually I hear people praising it, and it just didn't do anything for me.
And I know it's the 3D aspect too that you don't like.
Yeah, but I mean, I've played it again and again over the years. I still like I like 3D games in general. I played it on the DS. I just couldn't get into it there. It's just eh. And I think it's partly for me an overrating of it. Like it just
Everybody loved it.
Everyone loves it, and it just kind of counteracts. Like it just doesn't feel that good of a game.
Is it sometimes with you that when someone praises the game a little too much, then you go play it and the expectations are too high and you get let down?
I think there's something like people are they rave about it, and I play it. I'm like,
yeah,
it's not that good. I don't know.
I think that's a game where you're going to need to learn to speedrun it and learn the different hacks to it. So that way you can like glitch through the walls and just beat it, and get it done and over with.
just slide and go through everything.
That one glitch where you could like you get stuck underneath the staircase or something, and it like launches you like to the end of the game or something like that without having to get the stars.
Suddenly, it's a great game when that happens.
Oh yeah, you beat it in an hour.
Ben, do we have anything coming up?
We're going to announce which cons we're going to be at next, but as of now, we don't know. Our next episode will be another video games based on movies. Worth it? We will announce what movie game that will be. Be calm and assertive, and we will make an announcement on our Instagram page. We've gotten a few ratings on our podcast. Much obliged. Don't forget to leave us a rating with your likes and comments. We may even mention you in our show.
Perfect. Thank you for that. That pretty much sums it up, guys. What do you think? It's been a night, huh?
Are you guys' minds sufficiently blown yet?
Nope. Not
No.
yet.
Boom.
Nope, and we're ready for more.
Not with Peach and Luigi?
Oh, we still need to finish Super Mario Land so we can get Mario and Daisy together.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. If you guys like to do the internet, drop us a line on Instagram at retro_game night. If you have Twitter, at retrogamenight1. Our email, retrogamenight@hotmail.com. Again, give us your comments, your questions. We'd love to hear from you. But until next time, everybody, stay goofy. It's time for spaghetti and the pizza.
That always reminds me of the game. Don't you touch my spaghetti! That's such a weird game.